This, in my opinion, is the best motovlog setup to record both your voice and your intercoms. And lucky for you, today we're gonna teach you how to build this exact setup. Now, over the past couple of years, we've tried a bunch of different moderations of this setup. We tried different helmets, different mics, different cameras, and there's been some quirks with all of them, but we finally think we perfected it. Now, to start out, I'm going to show you how to build this setup from start to finish. All the links for everything we're using is going to be in the bio, so make sure you check those out if you want to follow this step by step, and make sure to stick around to the end where we actually get to test out this setup. But let's go ahead and get into the build. All right, to start off, the core of this build is the Strada 3, the Primo version by Sedici. Now, the reason I went with this helmet over something a little bit more affordable like the Bell Qualifier is because this helmet is not only DOT certified, it is also Snell rated. So Snell does their own independent testing from my understanding. So overall, it's just a safer helmet. You got a little bit extra peace of mind while using this helmet. That's why I choose this helmet over something cheaper. But the Bell Qualifier, like I said, is a great cheap helmet. I've used that one. For the price point, you really can't beat it. So if you want to save an extra 150, 100 bucks, go with the Bell Qualifier. But for me, I wanted the peace of mind of knowing that it's just a little bit safer of a helmet. So that's why I went with this one. So obviously, we got a tinted visor. I'm gonna install that real quick. You don't really need to see that, but you gotta look all cool and mysterious while you're doing your motovlog. So you have to have a tinted visor. Let's go ahead and take this noob clear visor off. We don't wanna look like a nerd while we're riding. And just like that, we're a mysterious motovlogger. All right, next is going to be, if you want to record intercoms, which is, you know, if you're starting off your motovlogging channel, it's always nice to have the intercoms just as an option. You can always take them out and post if you need to, because with this setup, it's going to record a left and right channel. Left being your audio, your voice chat or phone call, and then right being your actual microphone. So you can split it up in post when you're editing if you need to, but it's always just nice to have, rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. So first things first, we're going to go ahead and install our Cardo system, which will allow us to have access to those intercoms. So what I bought is the Cardo Spirit. This is just the base cheap Cardo unit. You can get something nicer. They all kind of set up the same. The reason I get these is just because I'm cheap and I don't want to pay for a nicer Cardo, even though I'm sure it's worth it, but I don't have much experience with the nicer ones. I just get these, like I said, they're cheap, easy to throw in a helmet, good enough. There we go. Just a little thing. When you're adjusting your Cardo, think about which hand you're going to need while you're installing this. Are you going to be on the throttle hand or clutch hand? You obviously don't want to, you know, have to take your hand off the throttle and just pull in the clutch every time you have to adjust anything. So you want to put this on the hand that is the opposite of your throttle hand so you can keep on the throttle while just adjusting your speakers. Also, definitely not a shiesty I'm using with some rubbing alcohol on it. Make sure to wipe off any surfaces if you're using adhesive. Pretty obvious, but in case you didn't know, now you know. Go ahead and stick this in place. Beautiful. Boom, just like that. Got our nice mounted up Cardo, but we got much more to do. All right, we gotta break out all this padding. There's just snaps holding them in, I'm assuming. I actually don't know what this helmet, but most helmets are. All right, a little headpiece out. Not gonna need that for a minute. I didn't think this through, but real quick, I'm going to just rip this visor off so I don't scratch it up. Because knowing me, I'm gonna scratch the crap out of it. Now, I'm not really going through all these steps in installing a Cardo. There's so many better videos out there on how to install your Cardo. Most of you might be already adding this stuff to your helmet, so for that reason, I'm just kind of skipping through it. But yeah, plenty of videos online about how to install your Cardo. I'm just whipping through this and getting to the good stuff. All right, so at this point, we have our Cardo unit installed, ready for the good stuff. Now, like I said, to get intercoms, we're gonna have to do a little bit of wiring in here. It's really easy and it's pretty simple if you have a basic understanding of how audio kind of works. So basically what we're going to be doing is splitting up this track. So this is our speaker unit. What's happening is our voice call is being sent right into our speakers. So what we're doing is splitting this line and then once again using the audio breakout cable, which will completely break away the left and right channel. So into the left channel will be everything going into our speakers, but because we're splitting it, the speakers will still work. It'll still be getting a connection. It'll just be splitting one channel to your speakers and then the same channel to your microphone cable. Super simple setup, but let me show you what cables I got. So the most important thing, DJI mic. I went with a more budget option. There's more expensive, nicer mics, but this 40 bucks, worth it versus some of those other cheap, newer mics. Don't get those. What's the point of spending all this money and time wiring up something with a junky mic that you're gonna wanna replace in 2 months? Get a decent-ish mic at least DJI quality, okay? Now, one thing I've learned with my previous setups as far as the microphone goes is that if you clip this guy right where you're speaking like this, what's gonna happen is you're going to be talking, and even if you're recording 32-bit float, which is basically your levels won't peak no matter what you do, what's gonna happen is it's going to peak, not really, but it's gonna be the wind noise just, you know what I mean? So like if I talk like this close to my mic, you can kind of hear like this is a 32-bit float audio recorder, but because my voice is just on the mic, it's going to sound like it's peaking. So long story short, you're gonna wanna plug this guy into the side just enough to where hopefully you're avoiding some of that. So let me just show you a basic setup, basic wiring of how this all works. This is an audio breakaway cable, and what this does is split your left and right audio channels into their own separate mono channels. So basically this end is going to go into your camera. One of these channels is going to be the audio from your Shaky speakers, and the other is gonna be the microphone. The first step, just to get this all wired in so you can kind of see, is our splitter cable. This is what we're using to split the speaker channel. So we're gonna go ahead and unplug our speaker channel, plug one end in, just like that, and then our other end goes into the 3.5. So just like that, we have now split up our Shaky speaker unit so that we have a separate audio feed coming out, and that is what our breakaway cable gets plugged into. So to save a little bit of space on the build, I got these little extensions. So our extra channel from our Shaky unit, the speaker, boom, and then you can pick left or right, it doesn't really matter. Boom, now you're good to go there. Now we have a working unit from the speakers, so we'll get speaker audio out of the left channel. Boom, go ahead and plug in our mic. Now we're getting both. So this is basically going in your helmet, and then this will go straight into our camera, and that, like I said, breaking away the left and right channel into their own separate feeds, if that makes sense. So now we basically just gotta tidy this all up and put it in. Each helmet's gonna be a little different. Basically, you kind of wanna use the grooves to your advantage to try to hide some of the thicker stuff like this, because you don't wanna put on your helmet and then just feel wires. It gives you a headache, it's terrible. So another thing you can do is kind of look at the padding, figure out where the padding's the thickest so that you won't feel it. It's gonna vary from helmet to helmet. If you're using this helmet, you can follow along. If not, just know you're gonna have to make some adjustments based on the helmet you're using. A handy thing for tidying up this wires, get yourself some gaff tape. Don't use electrical tape or cheap tape. Gaff tape works wonders. It does amazing things to your helmet. Use gaff tape. All right, and then the last thing for this wiring is, because this is so bulky and it's a really short extension, I like to get a little bit longer one, just plug it in, and then you got a little bit thinner of a cable going out to your camera. That way you're not just using these right by your mouth and they're gonna be super bulky and big, so just something to save a little bit of space there. All right, so at this point, everything is ready to be all tidied up. Like I said, just follow those grooves, do as best as you can to kind of put the wires where the thick padding is, but don't put it too close to snaps. Again, gonna vary from helmet to helmet, but just do your best. It's gonna be different for every helmet, so I'm just going to cut the cameras, get this done, and we'll be right back when we're done. 20 minutes later, we got everything wired up. It's not pretty, okay? I'll tell you that right now. It's not my finest work, but once the padding's in, you can't really feel it. One thing I forgot to mention about these grooves is, come to find out, some of those are actually for the ventilation system. So if you can avoid using ones, maybe that's good. On my other helmet, yeah, they were used for ventilation too, but you know what? I kind of had to clog them up, and that's the price you pay for trying to look cool on the internet, I guess, because I can't think of another way to do it without really feeling it in the vent, unless somebody sold a kit that was like all this wiring that was made slimmer. But at the moment, you kind of just have to piece everything together on Amazon. So it is what it is. Not ideal, but it's functional. It will work. It might get a little sweaty in summer, but who cares? So if you can find wires slim enough to avoid that, do that. If not, it is what it is. So like I said, I kind of just packed everything in there. not pretty, but it works. The main thing is, as you get these big plugs down, that's kind of what I did first. Took all the bigger plugs, taped them down where I wanted them, and then kind of ran the wires wherever they fit. And just put your padding on real quick, try it on, see if you can feel any of those connectors. If you can, move them around, because these were too thick. There was nowhere in this helmet it fit. I had to switch it out for a traditional aux cord, and unfortunately I only had a long one, so that's also why it's really ugly. So yeah, just check out your fitment every time you you know, get everything close to done. Just make sure it's comfortable, which I did that. Everything fits, except for I did not test this side one here yet, because we're about to put all the padding in and test everything out. So like that, we are done. Good to go. I'm gonna go ahead and put all my padding in. And if you have any questions about any of this, shoot them down in the comments. I'll do my best to get back to them. We're going to have to cut a little slot in this plastic to make sure this fits. So I'm just gonna kind of tuck this in to figure out how far I need to go there. All right, not pretty, but cut a little pocket for those wires so they're not getting extensively pinched. And just like that, our padding is all in and that is ready to go. Now, one thing you could do, this is going to be a hybrid setup. You're gonna use this for just riding and with or without a camera. For me, I'm always gonna have a camera on this guy, so I kind of just let this fly loose. The issue is if you're using it as a hybrid setup and you wanna ride without a camera too, this is gonna be flapping in the wind and it will hit you and it will hurt and it will start tearing your wiring out. Not a good idea. So what I did on my other helmet is just get a female to female, basically the exact opposite of this, but with a little bit of cord in between. And then what you do is tape in the outlet right around there. And so then you just use an aux cord that's, I don't know, a foot long, and you just run that into the female end of your camera, and that works just fine too. I did it this way, like I said, because I just want this slim little wire, and I'm only gonna be filming with this setup, so I'm not too worried about it. So just options there depending on how your setup is going to be used. All right, so we're ready to move on to our next step. And one thing I wanted to go over really quickly is the importance of choosing the right helmet. So the issue with my last setup is a Shoei RFSR chin mounts, okay? Now, I personally have had a terrible experience with chin mounts. You might have a different experience. It might just be this helmet. I think it's just this helmet. But basically, you can see here, there's not a whole lot of room for adhesive on this because of this venting system. So the issue is, even though this chin mount's cut out perfectly for this helmet, the adhesive constantly falls off. And I don't know if that was their stock adhesive, if it's just a cheaper adhesive they use, but I've replaced this thing about, I can't even count, at least 20 times. It's fallen off, on and off. I use the rubbing alcohol to clean it. I do the whole hair dry thing with adhesive, and it just, I've had zero luck with this thing staying on. Make sure you, when you go to buy a helmet, if it's not this one, make sure there's room to actually mount a chin mount or flexible mount, which is what we're gonna be using for this, because, or else you'll just constantly have your camera falling off. Luckily, I didn't lose or break any cameras. I got very fortunate with that, but you could if your helmet's, you know, not great for it. For me, I would never buy this helmet again, specifically for motovlogs. Super nice helmet otherwise, but it's just really not meant to have a camera mounted on it. A little bit of improvement here. We got a flexible mount. Now, this is a little stiffer than I wanted, so I'm hoping it still works. But my idea is we just kind of wrap it around here as best as we can. It looks like we're gonna have to trim a little bit off, you know, but I'm thinking that this will help me with the whole camera falling on and off situation, because that's really freaking annoying and I don't want to lose a camera. So that's our idea. I'm going to trim it to size here. All right, so again, rubbing alcohol on a old shiesty because we can't afford 2 microfiber cloths, only 1. And then I'm using all my outlets for my lights. So I'll be right back. I'm gonna heat dry this, get it nice and soft. We'll mount it up on the helmet. Whew, coming in hot. Oh yeah, there we go. All right, cool. All right, now that our adhesive mount has cooled down, we've let it sit, kept a bunch of pressure on it. This mount looks really solid compared to the little bit of surface area we had on the chin mount, because this ain't going anywhere. Okay, so now for the camera portion, our mount is good to go. It's all set. I get these little extenders. They're 10 bucks. You get different links in the pack. Again, all these links in the description. The reason, holy crap, that's tight. That's what she said. The reason for the extender is because without it, our angle is kind of like that. And the reality is you're going to kind of wear your helmet like this, right? And so we need that angle to match this, or else all you're gonna see is sky. So you need these little extenders to get the angle right. Perfect angle, it's nice and close. to the helmet. The further out you get it, obviously the more leverage it has, so it's going to put more stress on your mount versus this. So this is beautiful. I think we mounted it up pretty straight. I mean, the hair off, but who cares? So for the final part of this build, for the camera, obviously I'm using the DJI Osmo Action 5 Pro. It's because that's what I have. The 6 is out. If you're going to buy a new camera, get the Osmo Action 6. I like the DJIs better because in previous setups I used the GoPros. You need the media mod to run the microphone. Then what happens if your GoPro freezes up? You have to take the media mod off, which means you have to take all your hardware off and then take the cage out and then switch the battery. It's the most annoying thing in the world. So that's why I switched to DJI. Image quality is really good. The DJI Osmo Action 6 has a square sensor, so it's kind of optimized for, you know, your motovlogs, and then also clipping them into shorts. You'll get better quality than the 5s or the GoPros. I'm sure by the time this is out, GoPro is gonna be releasing like 5 other cameras. But for now, the DJI Osmo Action 6 is kind of the leader when it comes to the best motovlog camera. For our mic, I have a mic adapter. I'm pretty sure these work on the Action 6s. This basically just plugs into the Type-C port, and then hopefully I left us enough room. I might have to give us a little more room. There we go, there we go. Look at that beauty. She's all wired up, ready to go. And just like that, you have a motovlog setup that can record your intercoms along with recording your voice with a high quality microphone. So this setup is basically done. We're just gonna throw our visor on and then let's go ahead and head outside, test this baby out.
All right, guys, unfortunately, it literally was just snowing out, so way too cold and wet to ride. And I have no friends, so I'm not gonna be able to test the intercoms out for you. As you can hear, mic sounds good. Let's give you a little riding test footage. Hopefully a tree doesn't fall on me. Overall, great little setup. This helmet is very comfortable, and it does a really good job at blocking out wind noise, I gotta say. You can see how windy it is right now, and yeah, I can't hear too much of that. All I can really hear is myself talking and a little bit of bike noise, so that's awesome. But yeah, unfortunately, no intercoms. All right, guys, and there you have it, my motovlog setup. I appreciate you watching. Thanks, as always.